Hey, are you thinking about starting an accounting business? I kind of want to go over three main important areas that most people kind of skim over when they're starting their business. Now, the reason why they skim over these areas is not because they're not important. It's just that most people either are focused on like learning QuickBooks, right? Because they want to offer bookkeeping services, and this is for like accountants and bookkeepers, right? And then they want to get clients, like marketing. It's either they hyper focus on marketing, which is not a bad thing, or they hyper focus on like learning the accounting software. Which, if you've been an accountant for any amount of time, the accounting software is going to be like secondary to actually getting clients, because you know enough accounting to figure out the software once you get the clients, right? So you have to really focus on the right things, okay? Now, also, if you want some help, like growing your accounting firm, click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with me to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? So these are like the lessons I've learned from running my accounting firm for a little over 10 years now. Now, I started back in 2015, and it was very challenging because the stuff that I was focused on, it was just very misguided. I'll just say that. It's like the stuff I thought would actually make me successful ended up not really making me that successful, and the stuff that I thought was like stupid or just wouldn't work was the stuff that actually made all the difference. So number one, okay, focus is key. I cannot stress this enough. You need to have a solid foundation in your life in order to successfully run any type of business. A lot of people, like, they're seeing on the internet, like, it's like, you know, Amazon FBA or all these like side hustles, and they try a side hustle, it doesn't really work. They try another thing, it doesn't really work. They try another thing, it doesn't really work. And they keep bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. But if you're going to be successful in any business model online, you have to align your life in a way that makes it easier for you to be successful. So I'll give you an example. Number one, you have to have a job. At the bare minimum, you have to have like a part-time job. Now, I know it sounds crazy. Like, Bryce, what do you mean I have to have a part-time job? Like, I'm starting this business so I can make money. You can make a lot of money from a business, but you're probably not going to do it in your first year unless you have help. Like, if you're in like a coaching program, mentorship program, yes, you can go and like get results faster. But if you're doing this stuff on your own, the requisite skills and like just stuff you're going to have to build up is just so immense for most people. That's going to take you more than a year to do it. So like, if you can't, like, if you need like $7,000 a month to live, and this is your first business model, the first one you ever try to do that's successful, your first year, you're probably only going to make it to like $3,000 a month, if that, right? So it's like, if you need this to pay off your bills, you're going to be going into like some serious, like, you know, either debt or like serious savings, right? And no one really wants to do that. So I would keep your job as long as possible. Now, if you can get a part-time job, and you have like no job and get a part-time job, that's better, right? You need some kind of income coming to reduce your stress so you can actually think clearly when it comes to starting a business, because starting a business is like, physically it's very, like, starting an online business physically is very easy, but mentally and emotionally it can be very draining, right? Because like in the first year, there's so much confusion, right? It's like, let's say for example, you talk to a potential client, and then like they say they want to sign up with you, and then 3 days later, after no contract is filled out, nothing is signed, they end up disappearing on you and ghosting, right? That's a real thing. Happens a lot. Now, if that's like the first time you've had it happen to you like 2 or 3 times, it's frustrating because you're like, is it me? Is it them? Is my sales script bad? Is my pricing too high? It just adds all this like just doubt. You're just like stuck thinking about it for like a week, right? But as you get in the game, like let's say you're like a year in the game, 2 years in the game, you realize, okay, every 5 consultation calls you do, one person's just going to ghost. Another person's going to say they're interested, but just doesn't sign up for like 6 months to a year. So if you don't know that when you're starting out, you're gonna get so frustrated. And if you're already stressed out about money, then it's like, now you're more stressed out, you're more frustrated. You might, you know, really have like, I was getting like chest pains the first year, man. Not like chest pains like in a bad way, just like, all my muscles were just tightening up and I was just like feeling so much stress. And like, that's the thing, man. So it's like, you have to be kind of ready for that. And like, understand like your foundation has to be set up strong. Same thing with your family. It's like, your family, like maybe if you have a spouse, like they have to know like, hey, I'm gonna be focused on this business for a little while. Like, I'm gonna do the best I can. You know, if you're the one that cooks, you cook the food, right? You take care of the kids, but that's a real thing. You know, like a lot of spouses, like you'd be so surprised how many spouses talks their significant other out of like running a business. right? Like this one dude, he wasn't able to join the mentorship program just because like there's a lot of things that were going wrong, but yeah, his wife is kind of like not degrading him, but just kind of like really encouraging him to stop the business because it's not taking off as fast as he wanted. He started, I think, the business about a year ago, and he had like some clients when he first got started, but they kind of dropped off the map. This year, I think he had like 5 personal tax returns. His wife's like, dude, this business model is like, that's not a business supposed to, you're supposed to be making money by now. It's like, there's no set time with which a person makes money. It was the first business model to ever do. But yeah, she's like, yeah, no, you're supposed to like put in a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, and like this is supposed to be like a passive income source. And it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, she's never ran a business before, even, she's kind of a stay-at-home parent, so she hasn't even really worked jobs significantly, right? So it's like, yeah, it's just very frustrating for him because he's trying the hardest he can do, and he's had some mild success, but, it's just tough. So you have to get everything on board. Like your job has to be in place, your significant other has to be on board, your family has to be on board. You might only be able to come to like the first half of a basketball game, right? You might only be able to come hang out with the family like, in the weekends, because in the evenings after your job you might be working. Who knows? I don't know what life's gonna look like for you. I know that if you don't have any help, it's gonna take you a lot longer and it's gonna be a lot more sacrifice, Now, the question you need to ask is not whether or not I should be sacrificing or what's the easiest business model to start. The real question you need to ask is, will my suffering be worth it? Will my suffering be worth it? So for me, for example, when I was losing a lot of weight, I'm losing a good amount of weight now. I already lost 10 pounds in the last like month and a half, right? It took a bit longer in the start to like kickstart the weight loss, but now that it's like in the right direction, it's like moving down pretty significantly, right? But it was like, yeah, it was hard. I was losing like 2 pounds a week, and I was like, I was on a good amount of calories, but not a lot of calories compared to what I would usually be eating, and my body was feeling drained, right? And then the question was, I'm already struggling, I'm already having trouble with this thing. Should I keep going or do I stop? And the answer was, well, is it worth it? Is it worth being healthier? Is it worth, being able to take your shirt off at the beach? Is it worth being able to be like 20 pounds lighter so when you move your knees are not like, are not taking as much weight? Is it worth being able to, do like 10 pull-ups in a row? Is it worth it to do this stuff? And for me, the answer was yes. Same thing in my business. It's like the first year when you're getting the heart was getting tight and stuff, and you were getting annoyed and freaking out. Like, was that hard? Yes. Was it worth it? A resounding yes. When you can go on any vacation you want, when you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in addition to your bills and go straight into your investment account, when you're able to go and like have an audience of, I think our audience is what, like 20,000 people already? So it's like, this YouTube channel is probably our smallest audience, but we have like the school group, we have the Facebook group, we have LinkedIn. All those people who know you exist, it's like, that right there, that is like the biggest like blessing, just everything you can have, but it's all because you persevered through the stuff that was hard. Okay, so that's number one focus, and like having a solid foundation of life. Second thing is, most people need to build the skill of communication. You'd be very surprised. Everyone's like, I'm a good communicator, I can talk. No. If you do not have the life that you want, the job that you want, if you're struggling with promotions, if people seem to only if people seem to only do something because they want something from you, you are generally not a good communicator. I didn't understand this, right? I was effective at communicating, but I was not efficient at communicating. Let's say it like that. So when I was coming up, I was able to get whatever I want, but I'd have to do so much like brute force. So I had to like sit there and argue with the person over and over and over again until they understood my point, and then they gave me what I needed or what I wanted, right? So I was effective, I was not efficient. Now, in business, you need to be both effective and efficient. Because if you're effective and you're arguing, people can just be like, I don't want to work with you, right? So now you're not really as effective. But if you're efficient, people will not feel that they're arguing with you, and they're going to give you more of what you want. Let me give you an example. I had a student in our mentorship program, and she was a young lady. I think she had like 1 or 2 kids, and she was basically, every time that I would talk to her about like a consultation call, she would literally complain about her schedule. I can't work at this time because, my kid has this. I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of this. And I was letting it slide. I was like, okay, cool, we can work around the schedule. It's not that big of a deal. And I thought she was just telling that to me, because internally as someone's coach and mentor, you're telling me things that you wouldn't really tell other potential business owners, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. She's just expressing what she needs in order to kind of get to where she's trying to go. But then when we're reviewing her sales call footage, like I have all of our students in our program like review like the sales calls that they take, and like we review it together and say, okay, this is good, this is bad, this is what you need to improve, this is what you did, it was at a satisfactory level. This is why the person signed up, this is why the person did not sign up, right? Very simple call review. And one of the things that came out of my mouth was, yeah, I can't do your books or respond to you at this time because, my kid is doing this. Or I can't do this. I was like, oh, that's a mistake. I should have called her out for that. Because no client wants to hear that. Like, it can be true, but remember, if you're signing someone up as a client, as a contractor, they are not in control of your time. So that was really a moot issue, right? It didn't matter. But all the person hears is, no, I can't, I won't, and all these like random demands. And like, it's just like, of course you don't get them as a client. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. Someone wants someone that's exciting, encouraging, knows what they're doing, and is ready to work. Now again, I'm not saying you can't have these things with your schedule. It's just that's not the first thing you tell somebody. Like, that was like the first thing out of her mouth. Like, hey, I'm excited to work with you, but just to let you know, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. My kids go to work here, my kids go to school here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, chill. Nobody cares, man. See, and that's a part of communication. You have to learn how to communicate in a way that gets people to do what you want and communicates the necessary things to get someone to understand why you are a good fit. And again, most people are terrible communicators. And this is not like to be like inappropriate or sexist, but like usually what I found is like the more attractive a person is, the worse their communication skill generally tends to be. Because in their regular life, they might have gotten certain things because of, the way that they either look, the way that they carry themselves, or moving. Okay, I'll give you an example. I had an ex-girlfriend, right, and she was an insurance salesperson. About 3/4 of her clients were male truckers that had a crush on her. And she knew it. Like, that was her whole brand, that she would kind of like talk to them and like they'd be like, oh, hitting on her, or like sending her like presents and stuff like that. And like literally when like, and how you could kind of tell, she had 0 clients that were women. And when you listen to her sales, like there's no sales going on. It's like, I don't do sales. I just talk, and like people just like want to work with me. I was like, well, first of all, and as soon as she tried to either get stuff in life or she added like a different service that just wasn't applicable to the truck driving clients that she had, she was so bad. She had over, I think it was like 100 or 250 truck driver insurance clients. Then she tried to open up some kind of other service on top of that, and like it was just so irrelevant to truck drivers that when she started going to like real people, she was just like, ooh, this is not it. So she ended up closing that down and going back to her truck driver clients because it was so much easier. But again, it's very easy to kind of have false positives in life, right? Same thing with men, right? It's not just women we're talking about, it's like men. Like some men, they know, like, if they talk to certain people, they're gonna get their way. If they do a certain thing, they're gonna get their way, right? So it's like, you have to really build neutral communication skills that are not based on how you look, how you sound, how tall you are, how short you are, if you're huge, if you're small, if you're overweight. You have to have a solid, personalized like center of communication that's going to allow people to want to move with you and do what you need them to do. And then finally, you need to have some why-based goals. Like, why are you doing this stuff, right? So some people are like, I want to make $10K per month. Okay, well, why? Like, whoa, I just heard that, like, that's what you need to do to make good money. And it also can be based on your bills, right? Because as soon as you pay your bills, you're probably gonna like get demotivated, and you're either gonna like lose some clients, or you're gonna just like coast and sit there forever, right? So you're never really gonna reach your goals. It's when you have a goal where it's like, okay, because I need to go and get to this location for my family. I need this many vacations. I need this type of car. I need to go to this kind of school district. I want to eat at these kind of restaurants. I want to have this type of lifestyle. I want to have this kind of time. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of, if you go to church, donate more at your church. But you have to have a very, very strong and deeply thought out and deeply rooted why. It can't just be lip service, right? Like you can lie to other people and be like, oh, I want to hit $100,000 a month because of this goal. But if it ain't real, you're not going to be there. I've seen so many people where it's like they'll spend 6 months to a year not really making any progress, and you can just tell just based on the way they speak about what they want out of life, they don't really want it. And unless you have something that's pulling you towards your goals, you're not gonna do the necessary effort. That's how you see people where it's like, I need to find some motivation, or they'll watch like videos like these and be like, you're inspiring, but they don't really take action. It's just because you need to have a strong goal to be able to actually pull yourself into action and attack. That's all this life is. It's what do you want, why do you want it, what are you willing to do to go get it, okay? So hopefully you learned something about these videos. Again, these are something that like very glossed over things. Maybe it's not the most like sexy thing to talk about, but this is one of the most important things for you to focus on. Now, if you want some help growing your business, like maybe you've been thinking about growing your business for a while, but it's just not going the way that you wanted, or maybe you're just overwhelmed with like all the stuff there is to do that's like you feel like you need some help. Either way, if you want some help growing your business, click the link either above or below the video to book a call with myself. Let's see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. We basically walk accountants and bookkeepers through these steps to be able to go and reach your goals and really make sure you live a life of freedom, peace, and joy, to where you have control of your time, where you can be where you want to be and with who you want to be with, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. And also, if you're not ready for the call, that's A-okay too. I'll see you inside of our next video. Take it easy. Talk to you soon.